Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. It's Monday, March 17th. Hey, happy St. Patrick's Day to you and yours, if you celebrate. If not, we are just still the show, whether it's St. Patrick's Day or not, the show that tries to take the mystery out of your financial life. We do that by asking you to do a little bit of work. All you have to do, go to our website, jillonmoney.com. Click the Contact Us button. When that form pops up, write us a note. And if you're not going to join us on the show, try to give us a bunch of detail. If you are going to join us on the show, check the box. Mark will do everything else. And because he's the best, the very best executive producer in the world. I just said to him this morning, you know how I say to you guys, like, you really have to share information. Of course, there's allocation of labor. Like, to be clear, Mark, my work spouse, has so much information of mine, and that I had to actually say to him, how do I send a Zoom link out to somebody? What is my login? I had no idea. Anyway, so Mark is the best, and I always am very grateful that he is in my life. And we're very grateful for you. So let's get going with our gratitude and talk to Rob, who joins us from Kentucky. Hi, Rob. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
What brings you to our airwaves this morning?
Well, I had a question about diversification.
Okay.
As you know, diversifying is investing 101 kind of stuff when you're talking about diversifying across different types of investments. But my question is more to do with diversifying across institutions, if you will, where all my money is located.
Okay. Well, that's okay. I mean, I'm always interested in these kinds of questions. Sort of reminds me of like the financial crisis when we used to be like, oh, you don't have to worry about where your money is. And then you're like, wait a minute, maybe you do. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Rob. So who are you? What's going on? What's going on in your investment life?
Well, I am retired, and my wife is working. Soon to be retired, probably by the end of this year.
Mm-hmm. How old are you?
64. We're both 64.
Okay.
Worked for a large company that used a large, well-known firm to administer the 401k and some other plans. So ended up through that having most of our investments, most of our money with this one outfit. Mm-hmm. Great company, great experience with them over the years. And, it's kind of made my life a little simpler having everything under that one umbrella. But as the world has changed and I started thinking about, all the companies that are being hacked and, things that could happen, I thought, is it safe now to have so much of our financial assets under one company?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm just going to guess that the company's Fidelity. Am I right?
That's correct.
Thank you. I'm so good about these things. So I think that when we talk about the safety of assets, one of the things that I like to remind folks is that, like, when a lot of companies were under pressure, even in the great financial crisis, right? That when those companies were under pressure, the ones that were just holding retail money, that would be like a big retirement account or all those IRA accounts or, your accounts, Rob, that they weren't doing investment banking. They weren't taking your money in some way and risking money that they were investing on their own, maybe putting the firm itself at risk. So Fidelity is not an investment bank. Okay. It's an asset management company. And so I would not worry about any problems with Fidelity. Now, you also mentioned something that I think is important, and that is, hey, what about risk in general, like privacy, security? In that respect, I think working with a company like a Fidelity or a Vanguard is also a good idea because they spend a lot of money on their security systems. Now, of course, any company, any bank, anyone can have a hack. I don't think you have a lot to worry about when it comes to Fidelity's wherewithal to manage that risk. But if you're talking about ease of management and making your life a lot simpler in terms of your financial acumen and your financial management, I like easy. Easy works for me. So I don't think that this is a big issue. I'm just wondering, have you been feeling this way for a while, or is this a new feeling?
Yeah, it's more over the past couple of years. Never really thought about it as I was working and building our nest egg. But I guess when you get to a point where you don't have the ability to earn that income for, if you have some kind of a setback or a loss, you get to our age, you start to think about how do you protect what you've built a
Mm-hmm.
little more than you did when you were in your 30s and your 40s and even your early 50s.
So can I ask a different question? So the kinds of, because I appreciate the question you asked. I don't think you have a lot to worry about, but can I ask you about your other diversification, like the amount of money you have and how you are investing it and managing that, just to make sure that we have a sort of running a health check on Rob Inc. and Rob and his wife Inc. So tell us a little bit about that part of it. Like, what do you have and how is it invested?
Well, we have a couple of IRAs.
Mm-hmm.
I have one in my name and one in my wife's name, which are traditional IRAs, which is a little over $3 million. And then I have a Roth, which I have started over the past several years, converting some of that traditional IRA to the Roth. My wife, who still is working, has a small Roth IRA through her employer, has about $20,000 in it at this point, and then have a brokerage account with Fidelity,
Mm-hmm.
which just made up of some stocks and bonds, has about 600,000.
For you guys, are you using the money in the traditional IRAs or the brokerage account as income? I mean, your wife's working right now, but is her income right now enough for you, or are you drawing on these assets?
We're not drawing on the assets at this point. Between my wife's income and I have a pension, which I started drawing on this year. So between basically those two sources and some interest and dividends, we don't have to withdraw any of those assets at this point.
That's great. And so when your wife retires, will she have a pension?
No, she will not.
Okay. So when she retires at the end of this year, you have your pension, which is how much about?
It's about 35,000 a year.
And then what do you figure you need to live on? Just like big picture.
It's probably 100, 120,000 a year is enough.
Okay. And you're going to have plenty of money. And then when do you plan on claiming Social Security for you guys?
At this point, I haven't completely decided. It could be 67. Won't be before 67. Maybe chance of even delaying that, depending on how things are going.
You guys are in good health?
We are.
Okay.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx it. The reason why I asked that is that maybe because you have so much money in those IRA accounts, maybe part of your strategy should be to wait to claim Social Security and pull some of that money out of those IRAs to live on / convert.
Mm-hmm.
Because so next year, your only source of income will be pension and interest and dividends, right? So presumably, I don't know, you don't have that much money in the brokerage account, but presumably you have the 22%, maybe, I guess if you had a big year and you sold some stuff in the brokerage account, maybe the 24%. I would be pulling money out of those IRA accounts and trying to whittle them down and or try to convert them and, live on that money and delay getting my Social Security or claiming my Social Security to age 70. I presume once you get to 70, what's the Social Security amount? Do you have an idea of that?
It should be 50 something thousand a year.
Great. Okay. So, I mean, you have plenty of money. And so I think that the one thing that you could do to just kind of minimize those future distributions, those required minimum distributions, is pulling money out of the retirement account, out of the traditional account, and or converting, either one or both. The accounts themselves, how are you managing that? Is it like index funds? You mentioned stocks and some bonds, but are you in funds or individual securities?
Both.
Mm-hmm.
It's I've got about 65%. If you were kind of looking at the
Mm-hmm.
traditional allocation, about 65 in stocks, which includes some ETFs,
Yep.
and then 35% in bonds and CDs.
You feel comfortable with that just in general, or do you want to, are you nervous about the allocation when markets go down? Like we've had a bad couple of weeks, but like, do you feel nervous about that or you feel okay about that?
Yeah, I still feel okay with that.
Okay. So then of course, as you look ahead, if you're going to stay in your 24% bracket, which I mean, it would, that the 24% bracket for this year goes all the way up to $394,000. That's a lot of money that you can take out of the IRA or convert. And since you do have a brokerage account, you have money on the outside to be able to pay for a conversion. I love the combination of doing that. Do you guys have grown kids?
We do.
And
3.
everyone's doing okay? Those
Yep.
three are good?
Yep. All on their own, and
Great.
2 married and grandkids. So yes.
Amazing.
All good.
So I think that, if you're okay with the diversification, 65, 35, I'm okay. I do think getting some of that money out of those IRAs right now for the next 5 years, what a great way for you to minimize, or at least, like I say, minimize tax risk. You're still going to have to pay taxes, but at least you have the knowledge of, this is my tax bracket. I am paying taxes with certainty right now. And, I don't know, 10 years from now, the world changes over. Who knows? But in this period of time where you know where you are tax wise, and you know that you can convert some of the money, it's kind of nice to have it done. So I think that's a better way to manage your anxiety about a company going broke or diversification of company. Let's concentrate on that, because I think that's going to be a better use of your energy. I really feel very confident, in the ability of a place like Fidelity to withstand pretty much anything. Also, by the way, Fidelity, as you know, or may not know, it is a private company still. Mm-hmm. So it tends to have a different kind of exposure because it's the family's money. When it's the family's money, it's not the public's money. I don't know. I think you run it a little bit more risk averse. Just my 2 cents. You guys have your estate documents done, Rob?
We do.
All right, man. I'm going to send you on your way unless you have any other questions.
No. Thank you very much. I appreciate the insights.
Good. Go have some corned beef and celebrate St. Patrick's Day.
Thank you.
If you, like Rob, are thinking big picture, hey, what happens if? Give us a holler. I never want people to have to carry those kinds of questions around. Just go to the website, JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and of course, let us know if you want to come on the air by checking the box. Don't forget to sign up for the free weekly newsletter, which comes out every Friday. You can subscribe to us on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your favorite podcast. Hey, while you're on the Odyssey app, why don't you subscribe to Money Watch? That's our sister broadcast. It's on Saturdays and Sundays. You check that out. All righty. It's the beginning of the week. Just do something nice for someone else today. Get that week started on the right foot. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you tomorrow.